I need a haircut. This quarantine's not going well. Good morning, good week and good year. My name is Nate and welcome to this week's Devlog. This week I've got a little bit of bad news and a little bit of good news. The good news is you get to see my lovely face. The bad news is I've had to hold up on making any more content for Riverwood. As the game was getting bigger, I realised the scope was getting larger and larger, so I've had to sit back and I'm starting to rework it a little bit just to make it a bit more manageable, as I am a one-person team and Riverwood is a game of passion for me and I really want to make it something different and something new in that sort of genre, but it's going to take a lot of time. But I wanted to do a YouTube channel where I'm a game dev and I want to try and become a game dev, and the only way you can become a game dev is if you release a game. So I've come up with a goal, as it's time of quarantine and I'm going to have a little bit more time on my hands, is I've put Riverwood on the back burner and I've started a new game based around current climate, what's going on in the world at the moment, called Patient Zero. So what is Patient Zero? Patient Zero is a roguelike, kind of like Binding of Isaac, kind of like Enter the Gungeon. If you know what a roguelike is, it's all procedurally generated. You're going to have procedurally generated dungeons, procedurally generated items, and you're slowly going to level up as you progress through the dungeon. There is a story about Patient Zero being the first person that contracted a certain type of virus, and he flees into this unknown world. And you've got to chase after him and catch him so you can get the antibodies to cure this virus. So without further ado, I think the best thing to do is jump into the game and I can show you how it works and how the dungeons are working. Procedural generation's not finished yet, so I will show that in the next devlog. But devlog number 1, I'll show you the shooting, the player characters, the art style I'm going for, and different things you can do with inside Patient Zero. I nearly said Riverwood there. Okay, so let's jump in. So here we are inside Patient Zero. This is the main menu. As you see, I've got the main menu working. No options yet, no stats yet. This is all in the works and it will be in the final game, obviously, that's why it's there. It's just reminders of what I need to do. But new run will start a new run and generate you a dungeon. At the moment, it's not going to generate a dungeon, it's going to generate a couple of rooms for you to run around in and see how the game works. So let's jump in, new game. Loading. I need to put a loading screen here. Once the loading screen's in there, so you know after everything's procedurally generated. So this is Patient Zero. I keep thinking I'm going to say Riverwood. Patient Zero. Yes, you are this guy in a hazmat suit, as you can see. He looks a little bit, I've had people comment on Twitter saying he looks a little bit like One Punch Man. And as you can see, the enemies here will chase you around. This is a very early concept for one of the enemies. He has a small radius and you can shoot him with your gun. This is a Super Soaker type gun and it shoots sanitizer. So you have to shoot sanitizer and kill all the viruses that Patient Zero has left throughout the dungeon. There you go, I killed that one enemy. That's the only enemy in this current build. And that's how the shooting works. As you see, the shooting is quite slow at the moment. The character is quite slow at the moment. So when you start, this is going to be sort of the base settings of the game, and the further you get on in the dungeons, the more powers you get. So if you've ever played anything like Binding of Isaac or Enter the Gungeon, it's that sort of roguelike. Let's go over the UI. You can click, I'm playing on a Xbox controller, so you can click the right stick here and this will put your stats away if you don't need them, just to give you a bit more real estate. One thing I'm trying to do on this game is, if you can see the room, it's a 15:9 room, but the black void is also player space. You can't actually get out there yourself, but it will be enemy space, sorry, not player space, enemy space. So enemies will be able to fly around on the outside and give you a bit of a different feel to the game. So you've got a bit more of a bigger space. That's why I have it, so you can get rid of the stats. So you've got a bit more space to kill. And obviously big bosses and stuff could obviously come up from the sides, come around the edge of the rooms that you're in, stuff that I'm working on at the moment, and it's looking quite good. So I'll show you in the future when I've finished it. You've got the rocks here. I can run around. You have down in the bottom corner, right trigger is your bombs. At the moment, I've got sanitizer bombs. I can place them and blow up rocks. It's got very early sort of particle systems attached to them. So if I go through, I can plant them. They do have a reset timer of 1 second. And as you can see, there is different bombs in the bottom corner, like a picture of the bomb. There will be different bombs in this game, loads of different variants. I've got a bomb at the moment that I'm working on, which is a spider bomb that can run across the floor, and it will run to the nearest enemy or run to the nearest treasure block or something like that. I'm thinking along the lines. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can carry on placing more bombs. The bullets will splash when they hit the floor. They do have a drop-off rate, so they have a fire rate. If we look back at the stats, you have movement speed, rotation, so you have to play a rotation, how fast he rotates. The little dice is your luck meter. At the moment it's 0, so you just got standard luck. Then you have attack power, attack speed, attack range, attack rate, and attack critical hit. So you have a 1.11 chance of getting a critical hit. Your attack rate is how fast the bullets will come out of the gun. The range is how far it will go before it starts falling. And the speed is how fast the bullet will travel. And obviously the power is how much damage it will do. So if I come over here to the right, I know here there's an extra room because I programmed it. So this is your next room. It's the same as the first one, but it has an item in, and this item is called the disinfection injection. So as we all know, President Trump told everyone to inject disinfectant into their veins to cure the virus. But if I get this, it's just going to do a base stat upgrade of my speed. So if we look up at the speed here, I can take this and it's put my speed to 3.375. So now I'm a lot faster. So as you see, it's gone to 3.375 the speed. That's a very powerful upgrade. This is just to show you how stuff works. Oh yeah, and I forgot as well, it gives you a random chance to shoot a poison disinfectant bullet. So as you see, the more I shoot, it has a very low chance, but every so often I will shoot a green disinfectant bullet, which is kind of cool. We have the mini map up the top. That's going to show you the dungeon you're currently in. We have the FPS counter, we have your health. L3 is to click for your special button, so there'll be special pickups you can have which will give you special moves. At the moment I don't have any, so I can't do that. And your left trigger is for your consumables, so there'll be consumables around the map like health boosts, random stuff like that, and you can just press the left trigger and use them and you'll get temporary stat upgrades or temporary health boosts. And that's it. We have the little transitions into the dungeons. Once the procedurally generation is done, it will block off and put doors in for where you can go and can't go. At the moment, I have key doors, boss doors, quest doors, which will give you a quest to do. One more thing you can see on here is you have your health bar, which is here. We have 100 out of 100. We also have the level bar, and we have the green bar down here, which is your infection bar. So there is going to be status effects in the game. So when you accumulate 100% infection, your character will get infected. When he's infected, he'll take one of 5 infections. So he can get a flu, a cold, or he could get a bleed, internal bleeding, and stuff like that. So internal bleeding will just, over a certain amount of time, take away a certain amount of health. You get amnesia, which will make you forget your control. So left is right, right is left. There's loads of different ones I'm working on at the moment, but they're the main 2 that I've got implemented, but I haven't finished implementing the infection bar. So it's just another thing to worry about, that when you get hit by an enemy, it doesn't just take away health, it can infect you as well. So the more infection you get, the more things will happen. Some infections might take away stat items, so your speed might get slowed or your bullet range might get slowed, stuff like that. So that's another thing to take in. And your level meter up here is when you kill enemies and collect items, you will level up in the game. The reason why I thought I'd put level meter is because in games like Gungeon and Binding of Isaac and stuff like that, you progress through and you can get powerful really quickly if you get a good run and you know what the items do. So your attack power could get really high, and sometimes you just walk in a room and you just sort of one-shot enemies, and it can be fun and it will happen in this game as well. But the level system is for the more enemies you kill and the more items you collect will give you a certain amount of XP. The higher level you are is just going to set the enemy's health a bit higher. So if you come into a room and you're level 10, the enemy health pool is going to be higher than if you was level 1. So if you can run through and not level up as much or avoid certain enemies that level you up more, you'll have more chance of killing enemies in the future. So the game will progress with you, and it will kind of just give that curve a little less of like being overpowered. It's something that I'd need to put in first and implement and see how it works. It might be something that gets scrapped, I'm not sure, but I will see you in the future. So that's it for devlog number 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below any ideas for items, any ideas for stat boosts, anything that I might have missed in the game, just let me know. It might make it in there in the future. I want this game to be something the community can get hold of and let me know of ideas, let me know of things, because the item pool I want to get bigger and bigger. There's going to be different types of items and I want you guys to be able to put a little bit of input in there and have maybe your item put into the game. So just let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. I've been Nate and this has been devlog number 1 for Patient Zero. Bye.